An earthquake has killed at least 126 people in Tibet. Many others are trapped as dozens of aftershocks from the powerful quake shook the region in western China. Tremors were felt as far away as India.
This is the moment the earthquake struck, just 75 kilometres from Mount Everest. The world's highest mountain straddles the border between China and Nepal. The quake hit close to the Buddhist city of Shagatse in the Chinese autonomous region of Tibet. Rescuers were quickly on the scene as China's President Xi mobilized an all-out effort. Tremors also rattled the Nepalese capital Kathmandu, 400 kilometres from the epicenter.
I was sleeping when it happened. The bed was shaking. I thought my child was moving the bed. But then the windows started moving. And I understood it was an earthquake. I took my child and went outside. I'm still in shock.
Freezing temperatures added to the misery for the injured and those left homeless, as thousands of troops and firefighters were sent in.
We will strengthen seismic monitoring and early warning. We will spare no effort to search for anyone trapped, provide medical care for the injured, offer essential relief, and provide for the basic needs of residents.
The area is vulnerable to seismic activity. Experts say there's no way to predict when an earthquake might strike, but local authorities are well prepared.
This is the sixth big earthquake that happened in the region over the last 100 years.
This disaster is not on the same scale as the earthquake which killed nearly 9,000 people in Nepal in 2015. But it has caused extensive damage in one of Tibet's holiest cities.
Professor Taras Gerya works at the Department of Earth Sciences at the Federal Institute of Technology in Zurick. I asked him whether such powerful quakes are usual for this area.
Yeah, potentially it's not exceptional because earthquakes in this area of Tibet, they are varying in the magnitude from around, the biggest one, from around 6 to up to 8. The biggest earthquakes are on so-called strike-slip faults where plates are sliding past each other. But, this normal fault like these earthquakes hosted, they're also prone to relatively high magnitudes up to 7, or right. In this case, people are speaking about 7.9. So it's not unusual. It's just on the upper end of events that happened in the past in this area as well.
Okay. So at the upper end of what you would normally expect, and also, as I understand it, quite shallow at 10 kilometres deep. And presumably that has quite an effect on the scale of destruction.
This is correct, exactly. Shallow earthquakes are generally more dangerous for the reason that they are causing large surface displacement relatively frequently. And this surface displacement, surface shaking, is producing this very severe damage and lots of victims of these earthquakes. So essentially, it's better to have these shallow earthquakes, indeed.
And add to that the fact that this is happening in a mountainous area. That must just multiply the challenges for rescuers.
Absolutely. This type of earthquakes, it has been noticed that they preferentially occur in high elevation area with elevations of 3 up to 5 kilometers, which is likely related to distribution of gravitational energy in this Tibetan Himalayan mountain system. And as a result, they are exactly occurring in the areas which are very badly accessible. And then it's difficult to create the infrastructure and actually to provide rescue teams with rapid access to the damaged area.
Right. We've heard of many aftershocks that followed this quake, so presumably it's not one event and that's the end of it. That we still have to be very careful, and rescuers still have to be very careful.
Absolutely. So it's not uncommon there to have these aftershocks. In general, these plate convergence settings, where two plates are colliding with each other, they are prone very often to aftershocks. They are very well known in so-called subduction zones, but also in these mountain, building, continental collision zones. And then in some cases, there are few aftershocks. In some other cases, there are these many aftershocks and long lasting. And this is an additional risk, an additional hazard that needs to be taken into account.
OK, thanks for guiding us through that, Professor. Professor Gerya from the Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich. Thank you so much.
Thank you.